Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. 7 o'clock Tuesday evening, time for Toy Tuesday. We are on time tonight. Since last week I was running a little late because I had a guy out at the yard picking up some parts. So since we are live, I'll give everybody a few seconds to get their notifications and get on with us. And we will get rolling here shortly. Got a couple of cool cans to check out tonight, as well as a new sign that we've added into the collection, and something else that's a little off topic, but thought it was kind of cool. We picked it up while we were out on vacation this summer. Thought we'd throw that in too, even though it's something a little bit different. So anyway, got a few of you jumping on with us. Thanks for being here tonight. We'll go ahead and get rolling. We'll start checking out a few of these cans. Starting off with right here, Lee's on, Nick's on, glad you made it. Rico and Jess are here. So a few of us jumping on. Let's start checking out a few things. Starting off with the Boston Coach Axle Oil. David W. is on. Ellen, North Carolina is on. Glad you guys all made it tonight. Really cool can. Definitely, I'd say pretty early. You know, Boston Coach and Axle Oil for oiling buggies, carriages, wagons, and trucks. Williams on. Glad you made it tonight. An axle lubricant of matchless lasting properties. Standard Oil Company product. Great can, really cool graphics. You look at the detail and all the stuff on the corners and the edges of these cans. You know, there was no reason to put that stuff on there other than just for strictly ornamental and decorative. Directions: remove all grease and gum from the axle and hub and apply sufficient Boston Coach axle oil to thinly coat the axle. Do not put on too much. Buggy, wagon, or truck is used every day on once a week. Standard Oil Company. Specialties lists some of the other specialty greases and oils that they have available at that time. Don't see a year on this can, but I mean, it's got to be early just when you look at the style and what it says on it. Got to be a super early can. Just don't know much about it, but still a great can, great graphics. And definitely not an extremely common one. Still has the cap on it, a little bit of residue on the top of it. About the size of the palm of your hand. So not a big, huge can, but a cool can with great graphics. Next can, kind of the same thing. Real early with a lot of great graphics. Oils them all, Puritan Home Lubricant. Another small home lubricant can similar to the one we looked at last week, the Green Standard. Puritan Home, it's got a lion on the side. This one does have a little surface rust on it on the back, but fortunately that worst parts are on the back and a little bit on this side. But we've still got a pretty decent front and one good lion on this side of it. So like I said, it is smaller than the palm of your hand and a great piece. But there again, these two cans are both, you know, based on what I know about cans and what I've seen, really, really early. So you factor they've got to be over 100 years old. So to be in that condition, great graphics, good color. Super excited to add those to the collection. Next can we've got, this thing is beautiful. It's like new old stock. Tidal Flying A. Great can. It's got a little bit of discoloration up here on the top. This thing is beautiful. This was full. We actually did drain it, which I almost hated to because the thing was new. But I really, really don't like these things when they start leaking, and that does have a tendency to happen. So we did go ahead and drain it from the bottom, but I think this was literally brand new old stock. Beautiful can. Little bit of discoloration over here as well. Tidal Flying A on the other side, also premium quality motor oil. The Tidal guarantee. And that's what Jess says, it is great condition. It's a beautiful can. So some of the specifics: Tidal motor oil will assure high resistance to heat, low-cost lubrication, protection against bearing corrosion. Bob from Arkansas is on with us tonight. Glad you made it, Bob. Made in the United States of America by Tidewater Associated Oil Company, New York, Tulsa, and San Francisco. So beautiful piece. Definitely had to pay up a little bit to get that, but Flying A stuff, always great stuff. Condition, obviously outstanding. And I was really excited to add that to the collection. All three of these cans, actually, we bought them at the Pioneer Auto Show while we were... No, I didn't use the oil. We just drained it out. The Pioneer Auto Show, when we were up in Murdo, South Dakota, they do have a gift shop. They do sell a few original things there. So, number one, is that extra virgin olive oil? I don't think so. But so we actually bought those at the Pioneer Auto Show in Murdo, South Dakota. So, if you ever get up there, be sure to stop by because you may end up bringing some original stuff home with you. We did buy a handful of cans there. This is about half of them. We looked at a few of them last week. We've got a couple more to look at yet. And a super cool sign. Frank's on with us. Glad you made it tonight, Frank. That we haven't gotten to yet either, but the sign is really great. The sign we're going to check out now actually did not come from there, but if you ever get up to Murdo, South Dakota, the Pioneer Auto Show, be sure to look around. Maybe you can pick up some original pieces for your collection as well. And be sure to catch the videos that we've been doing on the Pioneer Auto Show. I did several videos while we were there on their collection. They've got great stuff, some good samplings of what is there, so be sure to check those out. Now, the new sign that we've added to the collection, I did buy 3 signs when we were on vacation. Ironhead made it tonight. Glad you made it, Ironhead. This is the first one. It's a little bit rough, but it is a pretty rare sign from what I found. Goodrich tires. Number 1 says, should that oils them all have one of the double spouts? I don't know. This one said didn't have it, but it is almost an identical can to that standard from last week. MT Pocket Builds made it. So it could have, but it did not have one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was identical to that other one. But this Goodrich tire sign, like I said, definitely a little rough, got some chips in it, but still presents fairly well. It is single-sided. I've done a little bit of looking on these signs. There are some of them that were slightly different in some of the wording in this area. And these also were set up, they had these holes on them. Bob likes the sign too. These holes were actually so they could put like arrows off the sides of them and things like that from what I found. So, like I said, definitely not the best sign of the collection, but I definitely wasn't going to leave it behind. It was fairly priced. There's no such thing as a cheap sign anymore, I don't think. But it was fairly priced, so we went ahead and picked that up and added it to the collection as well. It is about a 30-inch round single-sided porcelain Goodrich tires, so neat piece. Definitely going to be able to find a spot on the wall for that one and add it to the collection with the rest of them. Now, the next thing we're going to check out is a little bit different. I'm going to kind of preface it a little bit before we get into it. It's not car related. If you're a baby boomer, you will definitely remember this era. But up in South Dakota, actually between Murdo and the Black Hills, if you're running I-90, you can actually stop at a missile silo site. And what we didn't realize is there are 3 different areas. We stopped at the primary museum, and these are basically the nuclear-tipped missiles that were put in the 60s and 70s, all over the upper Midwest of the United States. They actually have turned them, and there's one big museum. There's actually a site you can go to because one control center would man several missile silos, and the control center was what the museum was at. When we were cutting across there, we didn't realize that the museum was the furthest east stop, and we were heading east out of the Black Hills, headed to Murdo. So if you get up to Murdo, you're heading to the Black Hills, Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, some of that type of stuff, be sure to put this on your list. The Minuteman Missile Silo, I think it's a national park, the Minuteman Missile Silo National Park, you can look that up. But they actually sell a piece of the silos. And what it is, it's in the box. It says the Minuteman Missile Silo on it. So it's actually got a tchotchke, souvenir type box. But the piece is kind of cool. Next, the old Nike and Minuteman missile sites. That's what it was. But what they'll sell you, and it's not really exciting, but it is kind of cool, is somebody had the vision to, and these came out of Missouri, somebody that owned the ground where they took these silos out. They actually saved all the cable. And this is the cabling that would run from the command center to, the 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, I don't know how many missile silos, in a certain geographic area that were ran by that command center. So this is what they'll sell you. It is an actual piece of a Minuteman silo. It's, 6, 8 inches long. But you can kind of see in there, and this is 60s technology essentially, how many wires they've got packed in there, how thick it is, how well protected it is, with several different layers to make sure these are protected from all the elements. Jess likes it. I thought it was cool. It doesn't look like much. It doesn't look that exciting. But, it is a piece of history, and that's why that site was turned into a national park. And that's why you can stop and check it out and learn about them. You know, back in that day, you know, especially the baby boomer era after the Cuban Missile Crisis and things like that, you know, that was a very real thing. You know, today it's a little bit different, but yeah, I don't think you can light this one up, number one. That'd be a little tough. But there again, and I like this stuff, and you guys know that. I like you're holding a piece of tangible history in your hand that, you know, relates to some of our history. So that's why I bought one. You know, it's not like a sign where you're going to hang it on the wall and everybody's going to say, ooh, ah. But it is, you know, something that, you know, a lot of people dealt with back in that day, especially the baby boomer generation remembers that as kids back in the 60s. So that's that was the piece that I had picked out to show you that was kind of a little bit different. I thought it was neat, and like I said, it's still a piece of history. You know, they had one on display in a nice case, but you don't get the case, you just get the one in a little box, so you have to get your own little case. But something kind of different, and I thought was kind of cool. So I thought I'd share it with you. And like I said, if you get up in that area, pretty hard to beat it at show and tell day. Yeah, that's true. But if you get up in that area, if you get up to go to Murdo and see Dave and Vivian at the Pioneer Auto Show, if you're heading to the Black Hills, you know, to see you know, Mount Rushmore or you know, Crazy Horse, the Crazy Horse Monument, if you're heading to Sturgis. Another thing to put on your list to stop and check is the Minuteman Missile Silo site. Check them out. And like I said, if you're going to the west, you can stop at the museum first, and then there's 2 other sites you can stop at as you're heading west across 90. Like I said, we're heading east to Murdo to see Dave and Vivian, and stopped at the museum, not realizing we had passed the other 2 kind of supplemental sites that go along with it. So we did not go back to those other sites, but I'm sure it would have been worth it had we had the time. But anyway, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. A little bit off topic, but still interesting. And if you go up to the Pioneer Auto Show, definitely catch it. Yeah, like Nick says, just don't go stop at any old site. That's true. I'm sure they still keep pretty close tabs on a lot of that stuff. Big Job made it tonight. Glad you made it tonight, Big Job. But so something different. Like I said, it's off topic. But I wanted to show it to you. I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. We are talking a lot about the Pioneer Auto Show. I've got a lot of videos from the Pioneer Auto Show. Obviously with Sturgis, the Black Hills, Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse. I know a lot of people do travel that area. And this was a little piece that I wasn't even aware of. When we were up there a couple years ago, we zipped right past this place. Didn't even realize we went past it. So check it out. Put it on your list. And stop there if you're up there. It's a very interesting piece of history that, you know, was a very realistic situation, you know, in the not so distant past. So check it out. I strongly encourage it. It was well worth a stop. It wasn't a big, long, drawn out stop. It is a national park, so you know, I think, you know, anybody can stop and check it out. And it was an educational, interesting experience. So thought I'd throw that at you too, a chunk of cable. Even though it doesn't sound like much, it's an interesting chunk of cable. And it's kind of an interesting chunk of cable when you look at what is actually packed in there and what they did to preserve this stuff in the ground. So anyway, that's what I had for you guys tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Any other questions or comments, be sure to throw them up there real quick, and I'll try to catch them before we jump off. But anyway, trying to get some stuff done. Need to get some more cars picked up. Need to get you guys some new inventory videos. Need to try to get some more yard walk-arounds. And if nothing else, I need to try to start shooting a few spots in the yard instead of just strictly doing new inventory, because there's so much stuff that's changed that I need to get you some clips of. But anyway, stay tuned. More stuff coming up this week. We'll have Sunday Night Live chat again, of course, at 7 o'clock Sunday evening. And Toy Tuesday next week. We've still got a few more signs I've added to the collection. So, Big Job. If anybody goes to Mount Rushmore, go at night. It's an awesome view. I've not been there at night. I've been there twice, both times during the day. So, it just says it's too hot for that. So, it was definitely warm when we were up there. That's for sure. We thought we'd go north, and it would be a little better. And it was 100 degrees up there when we were up there. So, check it out. Put the, we talk a lot about the Pioneer Auto Show. Everybody's heard about that. Put the Minuteman Missile Silo site on your trip list when you get ready to go, and check it out. As always, got any other questions, you can always give me a shout, and give me a holler if you need something. We're going to bail off of here. Hope you guys like the signs and the cans as well. Big Job. A friend of mine just took his kids there. He went during the day and went back at night. and I bet it is. I bet it is breathtaking at night. The primary reason we went back is when we were there a couple years ago, it was under construction. And of course, I buy books everywhere I go. I love to read. I buy books everywhere I go. Well, I buy all the books at Mount Rushmore, and I'm reading about all the stuff we didn't see. So I couldn't understand what happened. So we went back this year, and then I understood why I couldn't see it. Classic Ride Society caught us. He caught the end. We're towards the end, but he caught us. That's good. But the way it was under construction, we couldn't get to the museum. That's up a little closer up to where they have they actually have like an open air auditorium or an open air performance area. There's a museum up there which we couldn't get to because of the construction. They have the sculptor's shop, kind of. Old School made it tonight, and where they've got the original model, the original actual scale model of Mount Rushmore that they worked off of and took dimensions off of. So be sure to check that out. Old School's trying to fight his garage door while he's watching us. Well, at least you're hanging out with us. So, but like I said, some other stuff to think about. Hope you guys liked it. A little bit different, a little bit of a difference to the mix tonight, but sometimes that's kind of fun too. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you swinging by, and we'll see you soon on the next video.